In a recent PM interview at major tech company, candidates were asked, how would you improve Twitter or known as X for blind people or make it more accessible? If you are looking to ace product sense question and become a top tier product manager, stick around. We'll break down this question and share the valuable tips to help you to craft a very impressive solution for this, right? So let's deep dive into the question. How would you improve Twitter for blind people or make it more accessible? But before that, first let's understand why do people use Twitter, right? Why it is important to know? Because if you don't know why people are using Twitter, it becomes very difficult for you to scope it down. So, tip number one, clarify your understanding of the product so that you and your interviewer are on the same page and it becomes very easy for you to scope it down. So, Twitter is a social media platform where you can share your thoughts as tweets and videos to the world, and you have limited character to write your tweets, right? So Twitter is being used for brand building, community building, advertising, getting more information and news, or getting entertainment, right? This is the value proposition. So when we are talking about improvement, can we assume that it is improving the user experience of blind people in getting news information and entertainment? Because the majority of blind people would use Twitter for information, news, and entertainment purpose, right? And the volume of the visually impaired people using Twitter for brand building, community building, or advertising will be very less, right? That is why we have prioritized this one. So, for this, let's assume that the interview is also aligned with our thinking process of improving user experience of blind people for seeking entertainment, news, and information, right? The other question which we need to ask is about the time and the resource constraint. Why? Because it will become very important while prioritizing our feature. Since the product is Twitter, we can assume that we have a decent amount of resources and we are not bounded by any such constraint. So the interviewer is also aligned with this, right? Now let's summarize whatever we have discussed till now. So we need to improve the user experience of Twitter for blind people while using it to seek information, news, entertainment purpose, and we are not bounded by any such constraint, right? Now that we have clarified, it is better to think about why it is important to solve the problem and the high level strategy. So why do you think it is important for Twitter to solve this problem? First, because over time Twitter has become more and more inaccessible due to evolving media. Nowadays people are using lot of images, gifs, video, which is why blind people have a hard time to have a good user experience, right? Second, also solving this problem will not improve the user experience for blind people, but also give you a good advantage and brand equity and a good PR for the company for being a consumer first, right? So this is why I think Twitter should solve this problem. I think we have got a good idea about strategic importance of solving this problem. Now let's see the different type of blind people who are using Twitter, right? So the first user persona is adult and tech savvy blind people who majorly consume content on the platform. They are the ones who use Twitter a lot in a day and they are constantly looking out for all type of shortcut for easy discovery on the platform, right? They are one of the power users of our platform as well in the blind people. Second, we can think of elderly people or middle aged people who are also using Twitter, but they are not expert in using it. They are the ones who spend probably 5 to 10 minutes on the platform seeking for information or news, right? And the third persona can be blind people who not only consume content but also try to contribute on the platform by, let's say, commenting on the post, reposting, or also making tweet on the platform, right? They are not only the content consumer, but they are also creating content on the platform, right? So these are the three different persona in the blind people which we can think of. So if I have to prioritize one persona, I would prioritize the first persona because they are the ones who are very high in number because content consumers are always greater than content creators. If we talk about the frequency of use, in that also the first and third persona much have higher frequency. So all in all, if I need to prioritize among the people, I would go with the first one, right? Now let's see some of the pain point of this persona. As a blind people, I use screen reader while using Twitter, but nowadays people are using a lot of emojis, hashtags, hyperlink in their post, and I'm not able to make sense out of it, right? This is very irritating and I end up quitting the app. For example, let's see how the screen reader will read this tweet.
Struggling with resume? Loudly crying, rushed face view face with cold sweat check. https://topmate.io/technomanagers #job search #resume review #resume.
Now you got my point, right? About how irritating it will be for blind users, because as a normal people, we don't read these hashtags or hyperlinks or emojis, right? Another pain point for the blind people is nowadays I find it very difficult to get information from the post because majority of posts contain images and gifs and people are not using alt text, right? In that case, without alt text, screen reader is not able to comprehend and not able to read what is inside the images, right? That is why it is becoming more difficult for blind people to use Twitter. Now let's see the third pain point. As a blind person, I use screen reader for Twitter, right? But the screen reader sound is kind of a robotic or monotonous and it doesn't sound like a human voice, right? This is my third pain point. Quick pause. If you have watched till now, then please subscribe to our channel and like this video to support us. Back to the question. I think these are the critical pain points which I can see. If I need to prioritize among these, I think I would prioritize the pain point 1 and 2. The reason why I am prioritizing this because the frequency of pain is much higher in these two pain points. That is why we have prioritized the pain point 1 and 2. Now let's think of the solution for solving these pain points. First, Twitter should be able to provide capability to skip emojis, hashtags, and hyperlinks so that when a screen readers read it, it should not sound like a bad or irritating, right? If the tweet only contains emojis or hashtags and hyperlink and no text, then it should be able to tell something like this. This post only contains emojis or hashtags or hyperlink so that the blind people are able to comprehend the post in a very easy way, right? Second thing is auto generation of alt text. Since very less number of people on Twitter put an effort of alt text, right? So Twitter should build a solution in which using image processing and AI to create the alt text and description about the images or GIF so that the screen reader would be able to read it for the blind people. So these are the two solutions. Since we don't have any time and the resource constraint as we discussed in the start, I would like to prioritize all the two solutions because both of the problems are more frequent and intense. But if I have to prioritize among these two, I would still go for the first one because for the second one, we require more effort, right? That is why if we have time constraint, I'll go for the first one. Now let's discuss the success criteria for this feature. The first one is daily active users who are using screen reader, which is the proxy for blind people because now people will enjoy coming back on the Twitter. Not only they will come back, but also they will do more sessions or daily or weekly Twitter session per user will also increase. And the third, which is average amount of time spent on the Twitter, which is average session length, will also increase. So these are my three primary metric which I'll track after launching this feature. I hope you have learned something new from this video. I will meet you into the next one. Till then, keep learning and keep watching.